60 Minutes Overtime.
Well, tell me about West Side Story.
What do you want to know?
Well, I heard that when it first started out, it was called East Side Story. It was
Well,
about
it was
gangs.
originally going to be about Catholics and Jews on the Lower East Side.
So
the
what
idea
changed?
was it was Romeo and Juliet, meaning there would be two families at war with each other, and so the original notion was to make it Jews and Catholics on the Lower East Side.
So what changed?
Oh, well, there was a very famous play. It was one of the longest-running plays in theater history called A.B.'s Irish Rose, and that's exactly what it was about. So you can even tell from the title, A.B.'s Irish Rose. So it just seemed like a not very fresh idea. And then Arthur Lawrence, who wrote the book, was out in California, and he picked up a newspaper about street gangs, and he thought, aha, how about doing it between so-called native New Yorkers and Puerto Rican immigrants, and the Puerto Rican, et cetera, et cetera. So that seemed like a good idea to make gangs on the stage, to make gangs out of them instead of out of Jews and Catholics, which, first of all, it's a fantasy, but the street gangs in those days were right there, and they were all about races separate and classes separate and about prejudices. And so it was exactly what Romeo and Juliet is about.
You guys had a good idea.
Well, that wasn't my idea. I wasn't part of the team yet. This was Arthur Lawrence, who was the librettist, and Jerome Robbins and Leonard Bernstein. But it was Arthur was the motor.
Well, you have said, and this is a quote, "For most people, West Side Story is about racial prejudice and urban violence. But what it's really about is theater, musical theater to be more precise."
Yeah, that's what I think it's about. I mean, the subject matter is racial prejudice, but what the piece is about how you blend music and lyrics and libretto and movement into one seamless whole. So you get a piece instead of a set of pieces. And though there had been sort of attempts at that before, this was sort of the first kind of, what shall I say? I want to say the first successful, and artistically I mean, the first successful blending of those elements into one seamless whole, as far as I'm concerned. And that's what we were trying to do.